Hello, today is episode 219, and this is the penultimate, the second to last episode of our series on Matthew's Gospel. I'm aware that the day this is being first posted, is for Christmas Day, and it might seem like a kind of gruesome text to have on Christmas Day, but bear with me, I think there's a kind of place for it. And so we're picking up the narrative in Matthew's Gospel in chapter 2, verses 16 through to 18. When Herod saw that he had been tricked by the wise men, he was infuriated, and he sent and killed all the children in around Bethlehem who were 2 years old or under, according to the time that he learned from the wise men. Then was fulfilled what had been spoken through the prophet Jeremiah. A voice was heard in Ramah, wailing and loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children. She refused to be consoled because they are no more. As I said, it's kind of gruesome, really. It can be seen like the petty rage of a petty despot, intent on wreaking violence upon a group of innocents to punish a group of foreign diplomats who had refused to bend to his will. But Herod is also seeking to secure his dynasty. Surely he must realize that he won't be around when the child is old enough to assume the throne. The difficulty is that people like Herod don't appear to do those kinds of sums. The arithmetic never enters their heads. Everything is in the now. He may be dead within the year, yet there's a part of him that imagines he has many more years ahead of him. This is a very human condition. I heard a news article a year or two back which, on the basis of research, had concluded that on average people believe they will live 15 years longer than they actually do. This means that some believe they will live even longer, and some less so. Herod had not come across this research. Yet, at the heart of the story, it is part of a larger narrative. And that starts with everything leading up to this point. At every step along the way, there are obstacles to the incarnation, to the birth of God among us. It's as though the world is conspiring against God to ensure that the safe arrival of his indescribable gift is made as problematic as possible. This seems to culminate in his birth in what may well have been a scratched out cave used to shelter animals from the worst of the weather. The world is not ready, nor, it seems, willing for such goodness to be lived out among us. Herod is willing to do whatever is required to stop this child coming to adulthood, insane though such an aspiration sounds. William Barclay suggests that this may have cost the life of up to 30 children, with all the attendant grief. Given his tendency for summarily slaughtering great numbers on a whim, this was actually small change for Herod. So the birth of the Christ child continues to be costly. Matthew references the words from Jeremiah 31 and 15. A voice was heard in Ramah, wailing and loud lamentation, Rachel weeping for her children. She refused to be consoled because they were no more. Ramah is where Rachel is buried. Rachel, the mother of Joseph and Benjamin. This is cast in its original context as her from the grave grieving at the taking of Judah and its children away into captivity into Babylon. Yet in Jeremiah it is cast in the context of hope and restoration. The people will return. That happened, and the people will return. Here in Matthew's Gospel, the passage is repurposed in a most poignant way, expressing the deep grief of the mothers who have just had their babies ripped from their arms and put to death. It's into such a barbaric world that the Christ child comes. The world hasn't fundamentally changed. It's true that it is much better since he came into it. Can we imagine how much darker and bleaker the world would be without his presence and intervention? yet it still has a long way to go. Self-serving ambition, fear, pride, greed are all part of our lives. And it's only as we open ourselves to the life-transforming grace of the one who entered our world in the face of such opposition and a desire to destroy him, that we find our own lives being changed little by little, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but more and more into his likeness. Let this Christmas open us to a renewed sense of the grace of God as we ponder his indescribable gift, recognizing God's commitment to us and to the whole world, that the likeness of Christ might find its fulfillment in each of us and in the communities in which we live. God bless you all this Christmas. God bless you all.